So let's start from a seated position on the mat. And we're gonna change it up a little bit. We've been doing it with one foot in front of the other for a pretty long time now. So we're going to actually pick up our left foot, cross it over the right thigh or the calf. So you move your foot from place to place, see what feels best, but try to get one foot on top of the other. If that doesn't feel good, you can again keep the foot in front and that's fine too. So find a place that works for you. And then we're going to sit up nice and tall, hands down on the knees, and we're just going to rock side to side. And really get into it. Try to lift those hips off of the mat as you go, just to stretch out through the connective tissue in the hips, but also to make sure that you're evenly situated from the right side to the left side. And then we're going to keep our feet, hands on our knees. We're going to sit up nice and tall and then extend forward. And hold it here. And then sit up nice and tall again, pressing down on the left side. We're just going to extend our body to the right, exactly to the right. We're not leaning forward, we're not leaning back, just opening up through the hips. Take a few deep breaths here. And as you exhale, try to sink down a little bit more. Find the tension in your body and release it. Bring it up to center, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So press down on the right side, extend out to the left. Use your exhales to relax. Look for the tension. When you find it, relax it with the exhale, and then see if you can't go just a little bit farther. Bring it up to center. One more time, sit up tall, extend forward. We're hip hinging forward, so we're keeping our back flat. And we're hinging from the hips, so we're not rounding out the shoulders. We're keeping our upper back engaged, looking up with our chin up. And then bring it back to center. And let's switch feet now. So now the right foot is either on the thigh or on the calf. You pick. This is halfway to the full lotus position when you're seated. It's definitely something to work up to, though, when you see the lotus position where people's feet are up on their thighs, both feet on the thighs. Puts a lot of strain on the outer knee, so it's important that you work up to that gently. Let's shift side to side, lifting the hips. Make sure you're evenly distributed, both legs. Get the hips up off of the mat. And I like this kind of movement too because it gets the blood flowing. And anytime we increase the blood flow to a muscle, we're aiding in flexibility and recovery of the muscle. Hands to the knees, sit up nice and tall, and then extend forward as far as you can comfortably. And again, use your exhale to relax the muscles. So you might feel a little bit of tension in the lower back or behind the hip. And just exhale, try to relax it and sink down a little bit more. You'd be surprised with one exhale where you're directing your breath to relax a certain muscle group. You'd be surprised at how much more mobility you find yourself, because we get used to holding on to tension in different muscle groups when we go into poses that we know that we usually feel tightness in that area. So we hold it tightly. And when you can just exhale and relax, you find a little bit more movement. Bring it up. And now we're going to press down on the left, extend to the right again. Try to find the tension and then release it. And there's some tension that you might not be able to release. So if you have an injury or any type of, chronic long-term tension, you might not be able to just think about it and relax it. So be realistic with yourself. And if there's something that doesn't relax, that's okay. And if you have a question about it, you can always email me or ask me after class. Bring it up to center, and then let's take it to the other side. So we're pressing down on the right, extending out to the left. Take a few deep breaths here. See if you can't sink down just a little bit more. And then bring it up to center. Nice and steady. Inhale, lift through the rib cage. Exhale, extend forward, hands to the knees, chin up, upper back engaged. Use your breath to find tension, and as you find it, try to relax it and sink even farther into the pose without losing that upper back engagement, without dropping the head down. Notice where you feel the muscles opening. Notice where you might feel some tension. And then bring it back up to a seated position. Let's bring the soles of the feet together. Sit up nice and tall, holding onto the ankles, pulling back against our ankles with our arms so that we can engage our upper back, keeping our back straight. And from here, I want you to close your eyes and just focus on the breath. As you inhale, look throughout your whole body for any sort of tension that you might be holding. And as you exhale, try to relax it. Even the muscles in your face. Look for tension and then exhale, relax. And once you're as relaxed as you can be, set your intention for the class to be present or some other intention that you may have for yourself. And then take that spirit of intent and focus it on the weekend. What do you wish to get out of your weekend? Who do you want to be this weekend? What do you wish to accomplish? Set yourself a goal, but make sure you're kind to yourself. Take another inhale, another relaxing exhale, and open your eyes. And now we're going to extend our legs out as wide or as narrow as you want. The more narrow they are, the harder it's going to be to extend forward. The wider, the easier it will be. So I'm picking a spot right in between wide and narrow. I'm going to sit up first with my hands on my thighs. And I want to, as I inhale, lift through my rib cage, lift my body so that I'm centered over my hips. And then as I exhale, I'm going to start sliding my fingers forward. And in this situation, it's okay to round out your back and look down, because I want you to relax through the upper back, relax through the lower back, drop your chin to your chest. You don't have to go out very far, just until you start to feel an opening behind the leg. Feel an opening between the shoulder blades, but make sure that you don't feel any tension in your lower back. Since we're rounding out, that puts a little more pressure on the lower back when we extend forward. So just make sure you don't feel tension. If you do feel tension, try to turn the tailbone up, drop the belly down towards the mat just a little bit more, while still rounding out the upper back to stretch out between the shoulder blades. And now with your inhale, seek out any tension that you might be holding that you didn't realize you were holding. And with your exhale, try to relax it and sink even farther into the pose. And don't worry about how far you're reaching, how this looks. One asana, one pose can look 100 different ways on 100 different bodies. So your pose might look a lot different than somebody else's, and that's okay. As long as you feel safe, as long as you feel your muscles opening, as long as you feel relaxed in your breath, and you're doing the right thing. All yoga is a preparation of the body to get into a space for meditation. So we're relaxing the body, moving the body, so that whenever we are seated in meditation, we don't feel jittery or agitated. But we're using the motions of yoga or the poses to bring our focus on the breath, on the movement, so that that's a form of being present. We're being present with what the body's doing right now. We're being present with the moment and where we are on our mat. And we're taking the opportunity to take the future, take the past, and just put it outside of this space so that you can be more present in this moment. That's all yoga is. I mean, there's a lot more to it than that, but for this class, now we're going to walk it back up, sit up nice and tall, bring the soles of the feet together again, pulling on the knees, bring it forward. One more time just to open the inner thighs. And we're going to start out with some spinal twists. So we're going to tuck the right foot in as close to our body as we can, and we're going to extend the left leg straight out in front of us. So my ankle and my hip and my shoulder are all in alignment here, if I can. If it feels a little bit better to set your foot out to the side a bit, that's okay too. And then make sure that we're evenly distributed. So if we were to look at our leg right now, it would make like the number 4. And then we're going to just sit up nice and tall and extend forward with our chest coming out over our left knee. And now we're not rounding out the back, so you might not see much of a forward hinge. In fact, if you feel too much pressure, you can place your hands behind you and sit up tall if you feel an opening through the back of your leg right here. So you find the place that works for you. Don't worry about where your hands are, wherever you're comfortable. And then release that pose. Now we're going to take the right foot, cross it over the left thigh. Or if that feels uncomfortable, you can bring it farther down towards your knee. It's up to you, but try to tuck it in as much as you can. And then we want to sit up as tall as we can here, flexing through the left foot. We're going to bring the left elbow outside of the right thigh, and we're going to look over our right shoulder, bringing our left palm, the left hand up, fingers pointed to the ceiling. Keep looking over the right shoulder, and now use your breath to find relaxation. So inhale, look for where you might be holding tension. Exhale, try to relax. Inhale, press your left elbow into your right thigh as you twist a little bit more. Exhale, relax. See if you can't enhance that twist. Keep turning your chin towards your right shoulder, looking back as far as you can comfortably, but also holding the spine upright. We don't want to be slouching here. And then exhale, release. Bring it forward so shoulders are square to the front again. And from here, we're going to take the left leg and we're going to bend that knee so that our left heel is right next to our right hip. If that feels uncomfortable, again, you can adjust however you feel comfortable with both knees bent. From this position, I invite you to work your right knee over so that it comes right above the left knee. Mine's not there. I'm not at that point yet with my flexibility. So they're a little off-centered, but that's okay. And then from here, we have our legs kind of twisted, one on top of the other. We're going to sit up nice and tall. We're going to raise the left arm, and we're going to bring the left arm down the spine so that our elbow's over our shoulder if it goes there. If not, you can be out to the side of it. And we're bringing the right arm up behind. See if you can't touch your fingers to one another. If you can't touch, that's okay. Just grab somewhere on your shirt. Or if you have a towel or a yoga strap handy or a belt, you can hold on to the belt. But what we're doing is we're opening up through the shoulders, opening up through the triceps. But we're also opening through our hips, so we're sitting nice and tall. This is called head of cow. Take a few more deep breaths. Trying to drop the right hip down towards the mat. So when we're in this position, our right hip wants to raise up. So we're just exhaling, relaxing, trying to get a little more mobility, but also dropping the right hip down close to the mat, and you'll feel some opening occurring there. When you're ready, you gently release your hands, bring it back to normal, roll your shoulders out. And then we're going to untwist our feet. And now we're going to extend the right leg straight in front, so ankle, hip, shoulder alignment. Again, if that's uncomfortable, you can also take it out to the side a little bit more. And then we're tucking the left foot in so that our foot's against our thigh. Sitting up nice and tall, we have a number 4 right here with our leg. Sit up as tall as you can. And now we're going to exhale, drop our chest down towards the knee. You can place your hands in front, and you should feel some sort of opening in the back of your right leg. So if you put your hand back there, you're going to feel that muscle tighten up or open up. It's not so much tight as it is stretching. So you might feel that stretch, feel the muscles that are stretching there. If it feels too much or you feel compelled to roll the shoulders out, then go ahead and place your hands behind your back, pressing up with your fingers, lifting through your chest and helping to push your body forward in that way. So that might feel better for you. It depends on your hamstring flexibility, how tight your lower back and hamstrings and glutes are. They're all connected. Take a deep breath, look for any tension, exhale, relax it. See if you can't go a little farther than you normally would. Don't forget to relieve any tension in your face and drop your shoulders away from the ears. Try to relax your body. And then release from that pose, sit up nice and tall. And we're going to take the left foot now and cross it over the right thigh so that our foot is close to being flat against the mat. From here, take note of how both knees feel. If you feel like there's too much tension, you can walk your foot closer to the base of your knee, closer to your ankle. But you want to be as tucked as possible. From here, we're going to bring the right elbow outside of the left thigh. Our left hand comes behind our body, and we look over our shoulder. Palm is open, fingers pointed up, and we're using our arm to press against our leg to really get a good spinal twist here, but we're still keeping our spine straight. So make sure you look back as far as you can over the left shoulder. Inhale, find tension. Exhale, release it, pushing against the leg to get a little bit more of a twist. Don't forget to breathe. Sometimes when we're twisted, we're kind of bound up. It feels hard to take a deep breath in. It feels hard to fully exhale, but I really want you to focus on that full inhale and full exhale. Inhale, exhale, and then gently bring it forward again, keeping the left knee bent over the thigh. We're going to lean over, we're going to tuck the right knee in now. So our right heel is close to our left hip. We don't want to be sitting on it because we want to invite that left hip down to the floor. At a certain point, you might feel that your left foot wants to hover above the ground. See if you can't just readjust to make sure that your foot is touching the mat. If that's not happening for you today, that's okay. And then at this point, just pull in towards your body, make sure that you feel safe and that you're in the right position. And then at this point, we're going to rotate the leg, try to walk the left foot over so that the left knee is on top of the right, tucking the left foot in towards the body. This side's not as good for me. So it's okay if your knees aren't stacked. Like I said, the same asana will look 100 different ways on 100 different people. From here, you're going to raise your right arm up, bring it back behind the spine. Left arm comes up, and see if you can touch the fingers to one another. Try to invite the left hip down to the mat. Few deep breaths. Relax between the shoulders. Relax the hips. Relax the face. And then gently release when you're ready. Roll the shoulders out. Bring the feet back out to a wide stance. Toes flex. And this time we're going to try to work our legs out a little bit wider. And once we're in the place that we wish to be, we're going to reach our hands underneath our hamstrings, pulling our glutes back a little bit. And what we're doing is we're pulling our femur back towards our sacrum so that we're not sitting on a lot of muscle and everything, and it allows us to move forward a little bit more. So go ahead and adjust if you need to. You'd be surprised at how much more mobility you have whenever you do that. Then we're going to sit up nice and tall. Our fingertips are on our knees or our shins, whatever we can reach. And as we exhale, we're going to keep our upper back engaged, keep our chin up, and slide forward until you get to the point that you feel like stopping because your muscles feel tight. At this point, I want you to turn your tailbone up towards the ceiling. Drop the belly down towards the mat. So we're lifting our tailbone just like we would in cow pose. And then use your exhale to look for any tension you might be holding and see if you can't mentally relax that muscle and sink a little bit farther forward, maybe walking your hands a little farther out on your legs. Maybe you can get to your toes. Try not to round the upper back though. We're just seeking out tension, trying to relax it. That will give us a little bit more mobility than we had before. Sometimes we stop at these places because we always stop there. Like I always reach for my shins, so I'm going to reach my shins today. But let's see if we can go a little bit more when we use our exhale and really explore what kind of flexibility that we have. Because we've been practicing for a while So you might find there's a little bit more flexibility, but if you don't find that, that's okay. We did leg strength yesterday. We did jumping squats and side lunges, so you might be tight from that. But use this as a chance to just explore how flexible you are today. Drop the chest down towards the floor. See if you can't get a little farther. So in some yoga classes, we hold the pose for a short amount of time and then move into the next, or we do one pose per breath, just like we do in sun salutations. For this class, we're doing longer poses. This is more of a restorative class. And what you'll find when you hold a pose for a longer period of time is that you gradually start sinking into it more and more, getting a little bit more flexible as you hold this pose. So you might find that your chest is closer to the floor now than when you entered this pose. So keep using your breath to keep relaxing, but don't forget to pull the shoulders back. Keep the chin up. Find places to relax those places and see if you can't go even farther. If you'd like to take it a step farther, you can actually pull with your hands against your legs to pull your body forward. Just make sure that nothing feels painful. You don't feel any muscle strain. We just want to feel muscle relaxation. We want to feel stretches, a light pull, but we don't want to feel pain. You also might find that you're constantly relaxing a certain muscle group. As soon as you relax it, it wants to tense up again. So keep focusing, keep relaxing, hold it here. Try to close your eyes. Use those exhales. And then gently walk it back up. Sit up nice and tall. Bring the feet together so that your knees are bent. We're going to sit up as tall as we can, and I'm going to do this from the side so that you can see what I'm doing. So we're sitting up as tall as we can, pulling our rib cage towards our knees, keeping our tailbone pointed behind us or up towards the ceiling. Hold it here. Keep pulling. And then from this position, we're going to just straighten the legs out in front of us again. So now our feet are together. This one's going to be a little bit harder. Forward folds are not my friend all the time, but we need to work on them. They are important. Now that our legs are forward, we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to reach back, grab underneath, right where our hamstring meets our glute, pull backwards, sit down, do the same thing on the other side. And now we're turning our tailbone behind us and up towards the ceiling, sitting up as tall as we can, and then sliding our fingers forward and reaching forward, hinging forward as far as we can comfortably. If you find that this is uncomfortable, painful, anything like that, the starting point for you might be putting your hands behind your back and then lifting your chest up to the ceiling and gently walking your hands forward until you feel that light pull. We've all got to start from somewhere. So if that's with your hands behind your back and you're not to 90 degrees yet, that's okay. Just find the right place for you. And then as you exhale, try to seek out new flexibility. Try to relax some of those muscles that are holding you back. Try to sink a little bit farther forward. For this one, we might end up rolling our shoulders forward a little bit, and that's okay. We still want to make sure that our upper back is engaged, but this reaching, we might end up pulling our shoulders forward. Find places to relax, relax them. See if you can't sink a little bit farther forward. Also important to note here from a physiological standpoint, if you were to drop your chin to your chest from this position and that made you feel some sort of shooting pain in your leg, that's a neurological issue. There might be a pinched nerve, there might be a vertebrae out of place. So if you drop your chin to your chest here and you feel some sort of new pain kind of in the sciatic region, that's a different problem than needing more flexibility. Flexibility won't hurt, but it's certainly a different issue. And if you've experienced that from this pose, please let me know either in email or after class, and I can give you a couple exercises that you can do to try to rectify that. Take one more deep breath here from this forward fold. And then gently bring your feet backwards towards your body. Again, soles of the feet together, lift through the chest, turn the tailbone up. We're just offsetting a forward fold, which is spinal flexion, a little bit of a spinal extension here. So pulling the chest back, lifting the tailbone up, but we're also opening up through the inner thighs. Sometimes our inner thigh muscles hold us back when it comes to hamstring flexibility. Our inner thighs and hamstrings have to be flexible so that we can get that forward reach. From here, go ahead and relax, and let's bring it up to a standing position. Take a few steps here. With our feet right underneath our hips, we're going to inhale, reach our hands up. When we're here, drop the shoulders away from the ears. Turn the tailbone under now. Flex through the lower abdominals. Look all the way up to the ceiling, gently, and then extend back, pushing your hips forward. Lift through the chin, the back of the head, trying to rest on the trap muscles. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Relax through the abdominals. Keep leaning back, pointing the fingers back even farther along the wall. But keep the hips stable. And release gently. Drop the right ear to the right shoulder, chin to chest, left ear to left shoulder, chin to chest. Bring it back up to center. Now we're going to take a wide stance. We're going to go back into those forward flexions. I love forward flexions for relaxation, looking for flexibility, because you're opening up the whole system from about the middle of the spine, middle of the lower spine, all the way down to the middle between your hips and your knees. So let's inhale up. Exhale, lift the tailbone. Drop the belly first down towards the floor. Bring the hands to the floor, and at this point, if you wish, you can now drop your chin down. Relax the head, relax the neck. And just look for some more flexibility. You might want to walk your feet out a little bit farther if that's comfortable for you. But you want to make sure that you can bring your hands to the floor. So you might have to step pretty far to get your hands to the floor, and that's a-okay. If your hands still don't go to the floor in this pose, or it's just not comfortable, you could do the same exercise using a chair by taking that stance, extending forward, placing your hands on the chair or couch or whatever it is, and then working to lift your tailbone up and drop your chest down. And that'll still work your flexibility in the hamstrings, but it takes a little pressure off of the hamstrings and off of the lower back. So that's a modification that you can use. Or if you're just in a space where you don't want to touch the floor. From here, keep relaxing, keep seeking out places to open. Lifting through the tailbone, relaxing the face, relaxing the jaw, relax between the shoulder blades. And acquaint yourself with the present moment. Follow your breath. Inhaling, bringing awareness to the body. Exhaling, relieving any tension that you might be feeling. Be fully present with your breath and with your body. Yoga means union, and that's union of breath and body, of the mind and the body and the breath. So really try to create that sense of union, focusing on the here and now. Take another deep breath here. And then gently walk your hands up to your thighs. Bend your knees slightly. We're going to bring our feet in a little bit more narrowly. So just gently walk your feet in. Bring your hands to Anjali Mudra, heart center. And now we're going to go into Hindi squat, which is a pretty low squat. We're going to drop our hips down towards our ankles. So if you need to place your hands on your legs for more stability, go for it. If not, try it with your hands at heart center. Keep sinking down and try to keep your heels flat on the floor, palms together, and we're going to use our elbows against our knees to press the knees out, dropping our belly between our thighs, pulling our shoulder blades back. working for a straight back, chin up. If your heels start to raise off of the mat, you might need to spread your feet apart a little bit more. Take a deep breath here. And then gently bring the hands down to the floor. Pressing through the hands, you're going to lift up into a forward fold again. At this point, you can adjust your feet, try to make them a little wider if your hands don't touch the floor, or you can use a chair. Relax the neck, relax the face. Relax the abs and the lower back. Bend the knees slightly, bring your hands to your thighs back, roll up one vertebrae at a time, roll the shoulders back, bring the palms together again, and we're going to sink back down into this low squat. You might need to walk your feet closer together, farther apart. It's up to you. Always adjustments. And then from here, we're going to place our hands on the floor, walk our hands behind our back, drop it down to the mat, and we're going to sit on the mat facing forward, so just rotate it about 90 degrees. Legs up, sit up nice and tall. And now we're going to very gently, very gradually, one vertebrae at a time, bring it back so that we're laying down, but we're going in slow motion. Use your whole core to control your descent down to the mat. And then we're laying on the mat. Neck is relaxed. And we're going to work some more flexibility in the hips from here, but also a little bit of strength in the lower abdominals. From here, we're going to slowly, let's inhale, raise the right leg up to the ceiling as high as you can. Exhale, we're going to open the leg out to the side as far as you can. Inhale, bring the leg up to the ceiling. If you place your hands on your core, you can feel those muscles working. Exhale, drop the heel down to the floor. Let's do it on the other side. Inhale, raise the left leg as high as you can. Exhale, drop it out to the side. As far as your body will let you go. I have furniture, so that's as far as I can go. Inhale, bring it up to center. Exhale, drop it back down to the mat. Nice and slow and controlled. Follow your breath. Keep going through these motions. Inhale, raise the right leg. Exhale, bring it out to the side, opening through the hip, but you're stabilizing with your lower abdominals and your obliques. Inhale, raise it back up. Exhale, lower down. Switch sides. Inhale, lift the right. Left, exhale down. And you can go at your own pace. If you're not going at the same pace that I'm going, that's okay. Inhale up. Exhale down. The idea is that we are alternating legs, inhaling as we lift up to the center, exhaling as we drop down in either direction. Trying to really work that flexibility to go a little farther every time when we drop it down, and try to control it on the way up and down so that we're not relying on momentum or gravity to move. Keep moving through this. When you get to one on your left side, when you finish with the one on your left side, go ahead and relax both legs down. Relax through the abdominal muscle group. Bring your hands behind your head. You can even reach up as tall as you can. Opening up through the chest, through the rib cage. And from here, we want to stabilize our lower back, squeeze the glutes, stabilize through the abdominals, and now we're going to lift both legs up to the ceiling. If that feels like too much, you can also do it from a bent knee position. So we would just raise up with bent knees. Make sure your lower back feels stable and supported. From this position, we're going to drop both legs down to the right and relax here. Now, at this point, our legs are kind of stacked. So what we're going to do is rotate our hips. We're going to drop our heels down so that both hips are flat against the mat, both glutes. but our legs are kind of off to the side. So if we were a clock, we would be at about 5 o'clock or maybe even 4 o'clock. So the middle of the clock would be occurring right at our hips where the two hands come together. But our legs are out to the side. So you should feel an intense opening through the left hip. At this point, we're going to raise the right leg, cross it over the left leg to hold it in place, lifting through the right hip slightly, drop it down, and just hold this opening. If you're not really feeling anything, you could try walking your leg farther out to the side, maybe closer to the 4 o'clock. If your head is pointing at the 12, your foot would be pointing at the 4, maybe the 5, maybe even the 3 if you're super flexible. Take a deep breath. If you ever get sciatica, this is a very, very good stretch to do. In physical therapy, they call it the banana stretch or the clock stretch. And now gently release yourself from this position. So you're just going to stabilize with the right leg, let the left leg slide over, and then the right leg is going to join the left. And then we're going to bend both knees, pull the knees in towards the chest just to reset the spine, rocking side to side. And then bring it right back down. This is a full core exercise. We're not focusing on the aesthetic muscles, we're focusing on the actual core stabilizers. Bring the hands behind the head or up over the head. Squeeze the glutes. Activate the whole core, lower back and abs. Straighten the legs, make them as straight and tight as possible, and then lift the legs up to the ceiling. And now we lower down to the left. When we reach the floor, our ankles are stacked, meaning one ankle is on top of each other. Take a moment here and just relax. Then we're going to unstack the ankles by rotating our hips so that both glutes are on the floor. The legs are now pointing at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. Holding that, making sure you can adjust. You can lift one hip then the other. You can walk one leg over, make small adjustments so that we look like that clock. So our head is pointed at the 12. Our feet are pointed at the 6 or 7 or 8. And now you can bring the left foot up and over to hold the right foot in place. If you can walk it over even more, go for it. And now we work on relaxing through the hips. So as you exhale, you seek out tension. As you inhale, you seek out tension. As you exhale, you try to relax through the side of the hip. Pay attention, does this feel the same on this side as it did on the other side? Do you feel more tension, more tightness on one side over the other? Do you feel like you have more mobility on one side than the other? If you're planning on doing a lot of yard work, this is such a good opener for the side of the hips, because when we do balance or pick heavy things up, we use a lot of our core stabilizers to keep our spine where it needs to be. So by keeping those muscles flexible and strong, we're less likely to get injured by picking something up. From here, we're gently releasing ourselves from this position by lifting the left foot, using your left foot to stabilize, walking the right foot back to the center. Left foot comes to the center again, and we pull the knees in towards the chest, rocking side to side. And now we're going to rock side to side, bring our hands back down to the floor, and we're going to lower our feet down towards the floor a little bit at a time. Drop it down, drop it down, drop it down until your feet are touching the floor. Inhale, we're going to lift our belly button up towards the ceiling, turning the tailbone under so you can get your hands underneath your back. And now as you exhale, you're going to press your lower back flat against the mat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, press. So as we exhale, we're using our abdominals, lifting the tailbone up towards the ceiling. As we inhale, our tailbone's turning down towards the mat, and we're creating space behind our lower back. Keep following your breath, rolling through this. Put a lot of strain on the lower back with all of the forward folds that we did today. So what we're doing now is we're gently opening that back up so that we don't feel tightness throughout the day, and we don't set ourselves up for injury. From here, when you're ready, you can bring it up to a standing position. And we're going to be standing with our feet a little bit wider than hip width apart. And we're going to do some exhale breath opening. Let the arms swing. Short burst of exhale as we change direction. So when you get as far to one side as you can, it's a quick exhale. Sounds like you're trying to blow out a candle. Allow the inhale to occur naturally as your chest comes back to center, and exhale again. This is a great energizing movement. I realize Friday is not yet over. You might still have things you need to accomplish. So after we did all of that relaxation, we're building up energy now. This is great if you could do 30, 40, even 50 breaths as you go through this. And then we bring the feet a little bit closer together, just like we're holding a ball, a water balloon, let's say. We're going to inhale, lift it up over our head. Exhale, slam it down, bending the knees as we slam it. Exhale, slam it down. You're going for as big of a splash as you possibly can. Inhale slowly up. Exhale, throw it down. And an audible exhale. This should sound like a big release of air. One more. And I wish you all namaste. Thank you so much for participating today. Hope you all have a good weekend. Be safe out there.